I moved to Melbourne when I was only 16 years old, and so it's good to move there. I think almost at my formative years, and I think it helped me develop like a healthy sense of self-identity. I don't know if that makes sense. Being in Melbourne, it makes me realize that hey, it's okay to be me. And Australia has taught me a lot about humility as well. And being in Bali, it has encouraged me to develop some kind of leadership that is, yes, you can have a strong vision, but at the same time, you can also have compassion.
Yes. Yeah.
Balinese,
mutually exclusive.
the Balinese people, they're the most gracious people, I think. They're the nicest people, they're very genuine. And I remember in late 2018, we came up with Disconnect to Reconnect. And I think that was born out of my desire for authentic and proper connection with people. And it's almost like doing a stock take. Maybe we need someone that is a little bit more outspoken, someone that's a little bit more aggressive with their approach, but all within the same boundaries. And as long as, they still respect each other, because I do encourage open and honest communication within my team. Conflict is not necessarily a bad thing as long as it helps us improve.
Hi guys, welcome to season 2 of Future Fit with Priska. And with me I have a very special guest. His name is Bayu Sarwono and he's a true game changer in the world of luxury hospitality. Now he has a very long bio, which I will forget if I don't have it with me. So I want to tell you a little bit about him, okay? He's built an empire that blends Indonesia's rich cultural heritage with world-class luxury. One of the few super premium brands that has straddled properties on land and on the sea. Very, very unique. Bayu's the visionary founder behind Samsara, and they've won a swag of awards. So some of them include Travel's Choice 2024 Best of the Best, Exquisite Awards 2023 for Best Luxury Yacht, Rob Report Best Luxury Yacht 2024. As we know, Rob Report is the Bible for all things luxury lifestyle, and the Gianyar Award for the Best Asian Hotel Package 2019. Quite a list. So his commitment to excellence and passion is reflected through his creations, and he's someone that walked the talk. So he's actually, educated in Melbourne, added to his education, studying at executive education programs in Switzerland and Paris to really learn how to curate an experience that's remembered for all the right reasons. Beyond his business, he also serves as deputy chairman of the Gianyar development of the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, where he's fostering innovation, connecting entrepreneurs with each other, and really creating more opportunities in the tourism jewel of Indonesia. So his journey's been very extraordinary, from managing billion-dollar portfolios in Australia, now to crafting luxury experiences in Indonesia. Very excited to dive into the mind of this very talented individual. So welcome, Bayu.
Oh, thank you, Friska. I think you're very generous with your introduction. I feel that, I'm still building my businesses from being a boutique hotel and just a boutique Phinisi boat. So yeah, I wouldn't call it an empire yet, but oh well, one day. Hopefully one day.
But even before we met, I'd already heard of it.
Oh, really?
I'd already heard of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully
even
good things.
Very good things. It was actually on my list of things
great.
to do when I moved here. So yeah.
I'll help you.
Move it up the priorities.
Exactly.
So both you and I lived in Melbourne for a while, and it's a city known around the world as very, very livable, very creative, lots of diverse people from all backgrounds. So how did all those years there shape your values and the way you approach life and business today?
I think that's quite an interesting question. I moved to Melbourne when I was only 16 years old, and so it's good to move there. I think almost at my formative years, and I think it helped me develop like a healthy sense of self-identity. I don't know if that makes sense. Being in Melbourne, it makes me realize that hey, it's okay to be me. And Australia has taught me a lot about humility as well. I think as you and I know that, it's good to have goals, it's good to be driven, but at the same time, I think to stay humble and just to stay grounded is quite important in Australia. And otherwise you won't have a lot of friends.
Tall poppy syndrome.
No, otherwise you won't have a lot of friends. And but at the same time, I think, I don't know whether it's tall poppy syndrome, but at the same time, I think it's teaching you to be grounded and just do not take yourself too seriously. Like, we live in a world where I feel that we're taking ourselves too seriously, and sometimes, and it's a reminder that, hey, it's okay to have fun, and it's just be you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think that's right. Melbourne especially is probably the city that most supports people to express themselves, their true selves. Like, you want to wear a pink fluoro skirt? Great. You want to dye your hair rainbow colors? Fantastic.
I wear black though in Melbourne. So that way I blend in, and black is slimming.
The North Face puffer jacket?
Yes, exactly.
And so now, now we both come back to the motherland. We're both in Indonesia, and it's a country that's rapidly modernizing, but traditional values are still very strong here.
Yeah.
So as someone who identifies as having intersectional identities, how have you faced challenges in breaking through some of these societal norms, and how have these experiences influenced your leadership?
Look, I think it took me some time to really accept who I really am in Bali, and even in Indonesia, because I think, we grow up in a quite a conservative and traditional kind of like country, which is, I think that's also the beauty of this country, right? And then that's the reason why people come here for the culture, people come here for the energy. And I think one of the things that I've learned is that, hey, I'm actually naturally introverted.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that here, like, and one of the questions that I always ask myself is, can introverts be successful in businesses? Because especially here, everyone seems to be so social. And, it's a collective society. If you compare it to the place where we grew up in Australia, it's quite an individualist, kind of like culture. So suddenly when you're put in a place where it's all about collectivism, it does take time to adjust. But at the same time, I'm lucky that I can see the beauty in it. That, hey, it's actually nice to be able to share burden or responsibilities with the right people, I guess. And so, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. And
to celebrate the wins as well.
Yeah, celebrate the small wins, the little wins. And being in Bali, it has encouraged me to develop some kind of leadership that is, yes, you can have a strong vision, but at the same time, you can also have compassion.
Yes. Yeah.
Balinese,
mutually exclusive.
the Balinese people, they're the most gracious people, I think. They're the nicest people. They're very genuine. And that's, even I remember going back to Australia and everyone asked me the question, it's, what makes them so genuine? And, they really give genuine service. They're not just friendly, but they're genuine. And so
it's
that's
not for the tips. It's because they want
exactly.
to.
We don't really live on tips here. And we do have service charges, but that's it. But it's just, and that makes me realize, actually being in Bali for the past 8 years, it has taught me that, hey, it's okay to have a vision, but also remember to have compassion. That at the end of the day, I'm in a hospitality business, and we're dealing with people. Services come from the people, so it's important to understand the people and what they need, and be compassionate. That it's not, and maybe not every day that we will perform 100%. There will be days that you'll be at 60, 70. There will be days that we will be at 120. And just understanding the art of, I don't know, that compassion leadership, I guess. So, yeah.
Do you feel more at ease as an introvert here in Bali or in Melbourne?
Um, what I love about being in Bali is that even though I'm introverted, I think I'm surrounded by the right people and they understand that. And I think we're lucky that we grow up in an era where it is okay to be introverted.
Yeah.
You know, like back then when we were growing up, not just in Indonesia, but maybe in Australia, oh, he's a bit weird, but now we have awareness of, oh, people are just different. Some people get energy from being around other people. Some people get energy from, being by themselves, and solitude energizes them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel that it's not just about the place, but it's also, I'm lucky to live at a period where people understand these differences and
they accept them.
and
Like, people
accept
don't
them
think you're defective.
them.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just
That's
because
the key word, respect.
Respect them.
Accept
And just
respect.
because I am quiet. And there are days when I told my team that, hey, I've had quite a big day and I just need to focus, be in my little sanctuary. And they understand. It's like, yeah, just do your own thing. And then let's connect again tomorrow. And all my friends understand that, Bayu just needs his own time. And I think that's what we need to. We need to encourage people to respect differences. And sometimes, for introverts like me, it's quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So much like you, I'm also introverted. I think a lot of it has to do with, I'm an only child and I lost both my parents at a very young age.
Yeah.
So the feeling of being disconnected and lonely is very familiar to me, very familiar ache. Now, your properties address
It's a powerful emotion.
It is very powerful.
Yeah.
And there's now it's not about, now I can distinguish between being alone and feeling lonely, whereas before it was one of the same for me.
Yeah.
And now your properties address this feeling through curated opportunities that are architected to enable guests to connect with themselves and each other. So where did this start? I've never heard of this. Never heard a similar philosophy at other properties. So
really,
I'm intrigued. Yeah.
And it's I think because I went through a lot of personal challenges. I must admit, there were times when I was building this business that I felt lonely. I felt misunderstood, and hence I remember one time I was just in my bedroom. And that's when I came up with our first theme of the year. So at Samsara, we actually have end of year theme. And that's going to be pretty much what our sales and marketing is about for the following year. And I remember in late 2018, we came up with Disconnect to Reconnect. And I think that was born out of my desire for, for authentic and proper connection with people, and I just wanted to be part of the greater good, or I can do that. I can do good things for the world, and that's, I think, a lot of the philosophy was driven by my personal journey and my observation of the world. And like, for example, for next year, it's about life's little luxury. So, and again, that was driven by my my personal journey of sometimes when you go through challenges, when you go through hardships, sometimes we forget to
savor the little things.
Yeah, appreciate the little thing. Just being able to play with your puppy, or sometimes I remember I bought myself this really nice lavender body lotion from Tasmania, and I remember before I go to bed, I was like, I just want to use it on my hands and smell it, and I was like, wow, and it made me feel happy because we focus so much on the bigger things that sometimes we forget about the little things, and again, I think that's when I'm alone or when we're enjoying our solitude, I find that's when we get a lot of ideas and connection. At the end of the day, that is the ultimate luxury, I believe. Everyone wants to feel connected, and we live in a world where we can contact people and they get the message, but do they feel connected to them?
Well, apparently we're the loneliest we've ever been, and the impact on our
That's
health
sad,
is like
isn't
smoking a
it?
pack of cigarettes a day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't blame them. And it's but again, we tend to see technology as the problem, but is it the technology or is it our attitude towards technology?
It's probably a bit of both.
Like, for example, my sister
Mm.
is quite introverted as well, but she found her community through Instagram. And she's a pianist. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think we can make the we live in a world that, yeah, it's very fast, but at the same time, we can make it to work towards the way we want it to some extent, make the most of it. And yeah.
So the yacht experience that you've launched, that's relatively new. The villas came first. So what was the inspiration behind that? What inspired you to create such a distinctive offering, and how does it reflect your vision for what modern luxury is?
Yeah, so we started Samsara Ubud in 2017, and I was very ambitious. And in 2018, my business did really well, the resort. And then I'm like, oh, let's do something else. And I actually caught up with my friend that I went to uni with. So he went to Monash University as well. And then, so his family has been in the shipping industry. And I've always been fascinated with, the Phinisi traditional, the traditional kind of boat. And because it's quite rich in history. So I told him, like, hey, why don't we do this? And, we were inspired by other brands as well that have embarked on that journey. So he was like, oh yeah, let's do that. Let's build something that is quite beautiful, that allows people to explore the world's largest archipelagic nation. And so they can actually explore East Indonesia and by sea. So that's how it came about. And then we went to Komodo National Park, and it was just beautiful. And but at the heart of what we do is essentially preserving Indonesian heritage. I think the Phinisi boat building, it's even it was recognized by the UNESCO as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And and we need to embrace our heritage, like we, as a maritime nation, that we, it's important for us to, hey, like even our ancestors actually used this boat. They actually got to, remote places. They sailed all the way to Madagascar, near Africa, and even to Australia.
Yeah.
And they did trading with the local Aboriginal tribes, and it was well documented. And so I was like, well, let's do this, like we, and I do believe that Indonesia has a lot of potential when it comes to marine tourism. We've got Raja Ampat, it's got the most biodiversity, like underwater, and that needs to be explored.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we've got so many islands that we can visit and enjoy.
Agree. Because I was reading a report about tourism.
Yeah.
Like Thailand gets about 34 million tourists a year.
Unbelievable, the numbers.
Indonesia only gets 11. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But it's because, people don't know about these biodiverse hotspots and how to get there. And we definitely need more options.
So I think connectivity is important going forward. And I'm glad the government is taking the right steps to enhance the connectivity between islands. And but what we're trying to do with Samsara Samudra is, okay, I really don't like it when I have to go from one place to another, and then you're like, you unpack, and it just takes a lot of your time, and then you wait at the airport or you wait at the port, and I was like, just there's this boat that it's almost like a floating hotel, and you can celebrate, you can celebrate, go on adventure with 10 other friends or 11 other friends, and then just explore and wake up every day in a new place, in a new destination, and a new adventure. So that's what inspired me to do Samsara Samudra.
So heritage is clearly a passion, but you also incorporate some sustainability and local community engagement into your business. Can you share a little bit about that?
Look, I must admit that it's interesting. I feel that a lot more can be done, as a company. But for example, with the staff, like at Samsara Ubud, 40% of our staff are actually local. And we're probably one of the very few all Indonesian crew with Samsara Samudra as well. And so that's that. So we're talking about from the local engagement as well, but from sustainability. And I think that's the sustainability for me is quite a wide definition. We can talk about it from the environmental perspective, social perspective, even governance perspective. So the whole ESG arms. And but we're trying to do little things like, for example, limit the one-time plastic use, and then even maybe use reef safe kind of do you call it, not body lotion,
the sunscreen?
Sunscreen, sorry.
Yeah.
And just little things like that.
Okay.
And but yeah, I must admit that there are a lot of things that we can do more, and I want to do more in the sustainability side, like waste management and all that. So yeah,
little things add up to big mountains.
Yeah,
right?
and one step at a time. And I guess it's what can we do to actually balance between sustainability, strike the right balance between sustainability, people development, and profitability, because we can't just talk about sustainability, but businesses unfortunately need to make profit.
Yes.
Right. And to find the art of striking the right balance between those three, and I think it's quite important. And but I do believe that it's not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Just because we pursue sustainability doesn't mean that profitability is going to be reduced.
Yeah.
No. So and I don't know, because that seems to be that seems to be the view. Maybe at a greater level, right? At a macro level, but let's find the right balance between the three. And plus, because the people development is also important as well. When we're based in a developing country, we talk about environmental issues, but we also need to talk about poverty. And
So is that something that you had to consider or balance when you were in investment consulting? Because that's quite a pivot from investment consulting, and now it's luxury hospitality. So what were the skills that you could actually transfer from one industry to another? And what leadership lessons have you carried over from those two very different worlds?
I think when I was in investment consulting, we had to understand numbers, and we had to understand what the clients really want to some extent, so that way they can achieve the desired portfolio outcomes or portfolio returns. But at the same time, I was lucky that I was working for almost a decade for a company that's got a really good culture. So
you know what good looks like.
Hey?
So you know what made that good, like what the leaders
I remember
did
like in that company, I was, even the CEO talked to the analysts, and that's the culture that I brought to my company, because I want my housekeeping to
be able to chat to you about something.
I was like, oh, hi Bayu, how you going? How's your day been? And not just, oh, hi sir, and be
subservient.
Exactly, because that's not really the company culture that I want to set up for myself. Like, I want people to be able to enjoy coming to work. At the end of the day, they spend 8 hours a day in a company, in a working. So they need to be able to enjoy that. And I really hope that my company culture reflects that, when they can just say hello to me and without feeling scared. And then, so the company culture, and then, it's important to stay focused on what the guests need. that's something that I learned from the investment consulting as well. And anticipating what the guests need before they arrive. I think that's important. That's what luxury is about at the end of the day. And plus, I think it's I'm glad that I'm surrounded by the right people. Everyone is eager to learn, and there's a desire to learn and support each other. And so that's I don't know if that answers your question.
How did you hiring
Yeah.
the right people is the biggest pain point that many of my clients share with me.
Yeah.
So what's your secret sauce? How do you
I don't
kind
know
of
whether
find
I don't know whether like I've cracked the code yet, but I mean, like, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, intuition probably plays an important role, you know, and it's funny, I find that I think we tend to we have the tendency to, I only want to recruit people that are very similar to me, but we have to be very cautious of that. Even I remember me and my general manager were like, okay, in our circle of, you know, like in our circle, do we have all the right skills required? And it's almost like doing a stock take. Maybe we need someone that is a little bit more outspoken, someone that's a little bit more aggressive with their approach, but all within the same boundaries. And as long as, you know, they still respect each other, because I do encourage open and honest communication within my team. Conflict is not necessarily a bad thing as long as it helps us improve.
Yep.
I don't know, maybe that's the Australian in me. I don't know. It's just, and but at the same time, you know, it's just respecting each other and try ourselves not to attack someone on a personal level, which is, I don't know, that's pretty much it. You know, human resource 101, right? And but at the same time, you know, it's also always the you know, when let's say someone is or you feel that that person's you know, they've got much bigger potential, and what can we do to assist them to achieve their optimal level? And I always ask my team, what else can I do as a leader? You know, what do you need? What kind of support do you need from me? So that way we can get there and just make sure that everyone shares the same vision and mission as I do. And yeah, and I mean, you do get frustrated every now and then, but
of course.
you know, when you're dealing with people, you accept their weaknesses and their strength.
Are you leading change but constantly running into a brick wall of resistance? Maybe you've huffed and puffed, yet still not blown the house down. You are not alone. Resistance to change is one of the biggest roadblocks that leaders face. But it doesn't have to be. Imagine turning that resistance into momentum. Momentum which drives you forward. That's exactly what my free 5-part mini course will help you do. It's called Shifting Resistance into Resilience, and in just 5 lessons, I'll walk you through proven strategies to break down those walls. You'll learn how to identify the root causes of resistance, engage your key stakeholders, yes, even the stubborn and loud ones, and build a culture that doesn't fatigue with change. It actually feasts on it. Sound good? All you need to do is click the link to get started, and the first lesson will be in your inbox. Don't let resistance render you powerless. Turn it into resilience that will push you forward.
So it's a pretty complex business, right? Any business is complex, but you've got 2 very different businesses under one umbrella.
Yeah.
And I often write, especially in my second book that's coming up, how business owners and C-levels, especially in Asia, have to respect and carry forward tradition and be able to incorporate elements of change and transformation. So how do you decide what to keep and what to change in your business in order to keep improving? I mean, this year alone, you've won so many awards. So how do you know what to change and what to carry with you to the next year?
Look, I like to reflect, and in my spare time, I just reflect, okay, well, what's the company vision and what's the company mission and what's the target? Are we there yet? And if I feel that there's one element that is this is not really working. So usually I have a chat with my team and ask them, okay, what else can we do to improve this area? And explain to them and communicate with them why we want to get there or why we want to change. And so I think once they understand why the chain needs to exist and what else can I do to take them on this journey. So that's pretty much what I've been doing to some extent. Because even like, for example, with Samsara Ubud, we're only 8 years old, but at the same time, the world has changed since 2017 when we first opened. This year we would like to focus more on wellness and you know, when I told them like, look, this is the reason why we're doing it, and let's do, and yeah. So are you guys are you willing to embark on this adventure with me? But again, I remind myself that sometimes incremental changes are good. You know, like I think we tend to make drastic changes. I'm one of those people that, okay, let's just make incremental changes. 1% of change a day. Imagine that in a year. And you know, and so, you know, that's a risk that we take, right? And but it's yeah, I guess the short answer to that question is, for me, it's like identifying, well, what are the incremental changes that we can do, and let's take, you know, are we willing to take the risk to change, and be aware of the risk, that it might pay off or it may not. If it may, you know, if it doesn't pay off, well, at least we have a reason,
and we've learned
why
from
we
it.
did that, and we learned from it. And yeah, I just hope that, you know, the mistake is not as substantial, so that way you can still learn from it. And but I think business is like that. It's sometimes it's more arts than science. And that's the reason why I'm glad that I'm based on the island where you can actually listen to your intuition as well, and then do changes and do strategy based on, okay, this might be, we might do this or we might do that. And yes, some are driven by intuition, but some are driven by numbers.
Okay, the best of both worlds.
Yeah. And it's yeah. So I'm trying to strike the right balance between intuition and numbers these days, because I think I used to be driven by intuition a lot, and that can be quite dangerous if it's not backed by data. Yeah.
So we're shooting this currently in December 2024. So tell us about all the awards you've won this year. What are they?
So again, we won TripAdvisor's Best of the Best. That's for 1% property around the world, and so I think we're number 11 on, thanks to TripAdvisor, on the top 25 boutique hotels in Asia. I wish we were number 10, but that's okay. And then with Rob Report, we also won the best luxury Phinisi and a bit luxury yacht. And so I'm very grateful for Rob Report magazine, because they acknowledge the importance of, you know, highlighting like the traditional Phinisi yachting, not just the modern yacht. And best interior for the restaurant. And yeah, but those are the corporate achievements. But I feel that, you know, like I really want to use this opportunity to thank my team as well and my crew, because hey, we've survived another year, and we're still here.
You survived COVID. You all deserve gold medals.
we survived another year. We're healthy. Hopefully, we're happy. And let's just celebrate that. And let's celebrate togetherness as well. I mean, yes, it's good to have those awards and those recognitions, and it's so interesting that mentioned that, and I was like, it's only a few days ago that I asked myself, what if next year I don't win anything? You know, like it's but I was like, well, okay, well, maybe that's time for us to redefine success. Let's become more wholesome as a company. And that's, I don't know, this is just something that I thought before I went to bed last night.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and like, you know, I would love to use this opportunity to redefine what do we consider as corporate success. And yeah.
So those 4 awards, they're all very different. They all happened this year. That's very quick succession. It's like bang, 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 bang. Like I was on your Instagram, like, man, this guy wins an award every week.
No, not every week. Every 3 months. No, I'm kidding.
So what do you attribute to these quick wins in quick succession? Is there something you've been doing differently?
I hope you don't mind if I say I don't think it's been quick. Like, you know, for example, like the crew, you know, for example, my team, they have been working together for almost 8 years. And with the TripAdvisor recognitions, it's determined by guest reviews. And so, you know, with guest reviews, if the guests are happy, and then they will provide us with 5 stars reviews, and it's a teamwork. And the teamwork was born not overnight, but, you know, they've worked together. It's, you know, out of those many conflicts that they've had, and, you know, learning from experience about what the guest wants. So to be able to stay and be recognized by the guests, I think that's testament to their hard work. It's not to be honest, it's not my work at all. It's the teamwork. I don't want to take credit for that. When it comes to design, you know, I work with such a talented interior designer, Ibu Melati Danes, and her team, and they're very responsive to my feedback. And they always try to give the best as well. And again, you know, it's also the contract. It's a team effort. It's a collective effort. And one that is built, you know, like, for example, we won the award maybe that day, but if you think about it again, like, it's almost like the 24.
It's a culmination of all these little things.
It takes us 24 months to finally arrive at the concept. Even the Phinisi boat itself, like, it took me 5 years to really finish it. Like, we started in 2018, and we finally launched it in 2022. Mind you, we have 2 years break, but it's also like, it's a hard work. It's a collective work of many people involved. And so I must admit that I'm very lucky that I'm surrounded by the right team and by the right people. And that's how we were able to achieve that. Yeah, like, I wouldn't be able to do it alone, to be honest with you. Yeah.
So you hinted at, you know, the years of hard work. So resilience is a trait that many business owners claim is critical in love, life, and obviously in business. So can you share a few times when you really had to dig deep and call on this trend, when times were tough and you were tempted to give up? What were they, and how did you keep yourself going?
I remember 2020 was probably the hardest year in my life, and probably for a lot of people as well, because not only that, you know, I had to figure out ways for the business to survive, but at the same time, I lost my dad. You know, he passed away early that year. So I think it made me reflect a lot on life. And it's funny, I think other people became my purpose. I remember my auntie, I was at my dad's funeral. I was like, Bayu, I know you're dealing with grief right now, but remember, you're a leader. You have 60 people relying on you, and please don't forget your staff. I know your times are challenging right now. And that's when I was like, shit, she's right. I was like, I really need to worry about these people. About my team members. And so I think when the focus is no longer on you, but it's it's about other people, and be grateful that back then I was thinking, okay, well, at least I've still got this. Well, they only have their job. And back then I remember I was still grieving from the loss of my father, and plus thinking about how am I gonna pay the bills next month. And one of my team members came to my room, to the villa. I was staying in the villa, and she was like, "Oh, by the way, thank you for keeping us employed at a time where all of my friends lost my job." I was like, "Oh, why did you thank me?" I was like, "Well, I'm the only one in my family
That's working.
that's working," and it's funny, like that awaken like I gotta do something.
Yeah.
So I think like when we focus on what can I do to help others,
Yeah.
find a purpose, find a stronger purpose. And then also like one step at a time, I guess. Like that's when I realized like you don't have to have the answer right now. Do you know what I did? I was like, okay, I love my little list. As you can see, this is my journal that I also design. And so I usually just write down a list of things to do, and I actually find enjoyment out of just crossing them off bit by bit. And I realized that I think it helped me to just to know that you don't have to know the answer right now, everything, and try. And I remember like I always try to find healthy coping mechanism now, and usually just when I don't have any solutions, or when I'm just stuck or feel exhausted, just go for a walk.
Yep. It sounds so simple, but it's so therapeutic.
Yeah. I just go for a walk, or again, like the life's little luxury, like I'm just gonna burn a candle, just a nice candle, and then put my favorite body lotions, and it makes me feel happy. And I think we need to know what is life's little luxury for you? What is the thing that makes you feel good? And the thing is, what I'm experiencing may not work for other people, right? And so for me, it's the walk, and also tennis. Oh, just for 1 hour, I just focus on the ball. I don't think of anything else, because a lot of people told me, "But you need to try meditation." Well, tennis is my meditation. Just for 1 hour, I just focus on the ball. And I think that's, and surround yourself with the right people. Again, that's very, very important, I guess. It's because the right people will put you in the right environment, and the right people will lead you to the right solutions. And again, have a balance. I'm trying to have the right balance now between my professional life, my physical well-being, and my emotional well-being, and understanding where the limit is.
Yep.
And sometimes when I feel, and be compassionate to ourselves to the point that, in a way that I don't think I can think anymore. Like usually after like 4 big tasks in a day, I was like, I think that's it.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I'm not like, I think the other entrepreneurs that has such a big capacity. For me, I was like, I'm happy with 3 or 4 big things done for the day, and then let's do something. What else can I do to make myself happy? Or just what is that little thing that gives me joy? And I think we need to, because I feel that I'm in it for the long term, not just
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Yep.
Exactly.
And you don't want to burn out, and you can't finish the race. So
I think I made that mistake early in my entrepreneurial life, that I wanted to grow, but geez, there's only one Bayu. And I must admit, it's the pandemic and 2022, when a lot of things happened in my personal life as well, that I was like, well, what is life about? Is having 5 companies going to make me feel better about a lot of things? Having more companies mean that you'll be spending time in board meetings thinking about strategy, less time with family, less time with friends, less time for myself. Is that life? Is that what life is about? And that's when I started 2023 and 2024. I'm like, okay, let's just maintain.
Yep.
And let's take a pause and embrace a slower living. And I think a lot of people are changing their perceptions and their definition of success now. So
totally. I mean, we've all heard about the quiet quitting, the great resignation. When we were forced to stay home, there was a lot of reflection going on, and a lot of people realized they're not happy.
No.
They're not happy. Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, I feel that I think slow living is going to be the next thing. I think we realized that, oh my God, it's so exhausting to move at a fast pace. But at the same time, as business owners, we have to be able to identify, well, what are the changes that we need to adapt to.
Yep.
You know, as much as I would like to just enjoy the sunset every day in Seminyak, but unfortunately,
walk down the beach,
bill
drinking
must go,
coconuts.
yeah, exactly. Hey, but maybe one day, wait, I can do that. I can just have a coconut, watch the sunset, just walk on the beach. Yeah, joy.
So tell us about future plans then for Samsara.
It's funny, that's number 10. I haven't answered. I haven't got the answer for that. But
besides the little luxuries that you mentioned, is there anything else?
There are a few things that we're working on, and unfortunately, I can't disclose
Still
it
secret.
yet.
Okay,
Yep.
all good.
But we're obviously, you know, we're thinking about creating new experiences.
I'll put my hand up to be your guinea pig.
There you go. I'm gonna add you on my list of people to invite. But I think, look, so what is next for Samsara? We will focus on experiences. We will focus on more destinations. But at the same time, you know, as a company, we will try to redefine growth. What do we mean by growth? And I think at the moment, you know, at a time where everyone else seems to be growing at a crazy pace, I don't know, maybe we're just going to use this opportunity to, hey, let's take a step back. Let's go back to our DNA. What makes us us? And be good at it.
Yeah.
Even be better at it.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, if there are opportunities for more collaborations, I will be open to that. But again, you know, I think after having a boat business for almost 2 years, I'm like, just learn to go with the flow. There's beauty in that. You know, we're always forcing things to happen, but at the end of the day, there are things that you can control and there are things that you cannot control. So I have plans.
Yep.
I have ideas.
Yep.
But at the same time, I don't know, I'll just go with the flow.
Right.
And let's just focus on experiences, making sure the guests are happy and that we're, you know, again, the incremental changes over time.
Yep.
I mean, that's what we're going to focus on as a company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fabulous. So we're nearing the end of our time today. And as viewers know, I asked every guest the same questions at the end. So the first one is, future fit leadership to me is?
Is one that is balanced and sustainable in the long term.
So what we need more of in the future is?
Compassion, I think. And understanding that balance is important. And what can we do to achieve the right balance between sustainability, profitability, and people?
Yep, totally.
And
last one, a future fit organization is one that
shares the same vision and mission, willing to adapt to changes, and one that is able to strike the right balance again between sustainability, profitability, and the development of its people.
Very well said.
Yeah. And again, if I can add to what we need more of the future, it's a slower pace, I think. You know, we talk about sustainability, but do we talk about the pace of growth and of our expectation of growth?
Yeah, busy seems to be a badge of honor nowadays when it should be
let's
replaced with
you know,
like connectivity.
collectively, let's redefine success.
Mm.
It's not just financial, but it's also, am I healthy? And am I spending enough time with quality time with my friends, with my family? And am I doing the right thing for the community and for the environment? Let's take a step back and redefine that. And the way that I'm very impressed with, I think Bhutan, you know, they redefine happiness, and you know, they use the gross national happiness as one of the indicators of success. And maybe us globally, there's something, you know, maybe we can learn about it.
Agree. And they're building the mindfulness city.
Yeah. It's hard. Mindfulness is really hard though.
Yeah.
Even I'm trying to be a bit more mindful, but again, you know, this mind of
the monkey mind.
Oh my God, the monkey. You know what? I think there's a monkey forest in here. Seriously, all these orangutans are living here, rent free.
Yeah.
So, but again, you know, like we can always try to be better, and we, you know, let's.
Thank you for your time today. Thank you for sharing so openly.
Thank you so much, though, Friska.
Yeah.
And I really hope that you get something out of it.
Got plenty. And for those, Samsara and Bayu's details will be in the show notes, so you can check out his experiences for yourself. Till next time, see you again on Future Fit with Friska.